And you're listening to WITZ, the WITZ, the one place for all things music, art, and entertainment right here in Douglas County, Oregon. I'm your host, Mr. Colin Hurwitz, and thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot of great sponsors, and we want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and this episode is brought to you by 10 Down Bowling and Splits Bar and Grill. Don't forget Edward Jones for your investment needs, and don't forget New Visions Eye Care for your spectacle needs, and of course, WITZ Emmett for your financial needs. Some of the greatest businesses in Southern Oregon, you betcha. And of course, don't forget the Gene Bechtel School for Music, Spider King Studios, and the Douglas County Music Association. Let me tell you a little bit about where your money goes when you sponsor and donate and become a part of our membership tier. $300 makes you a bronze tier member, and that money helps to support students who need instruments and studio space. $500 makes you a part of the silver tier, and that helps us make sure that we have scholarships and sponsorships available for young performers and older ones too. And then of course, $1,000, that makes you a gold tier sponsor. And of course, if you're a gold tier sponsor, we'll find things to put in your pockets, I promise. But you are really making sure that all of our music programs in Douglas County are receiving the help that they need. So please consider donating and signing up today to be a member. If you're ready to donate now, you can write a check to the DCMA and you can send it to 1622 Northeast Vine Street. That's in Roseburg, Oregon at 97470. Or you can go to our Venmo at Oregon DCMA. And don't forget, you don't have to be a part of the membership tier if you don't want to. You can give $1, $2, $10. You can even give a penny. Anything helps. And the thing is, if you want to make sure that money gets directly to us, you can come to the Gene Bechtel School and say, I have some cash for the DCMA. When we have events, you can bring cash or a check. Like our piano concert in June of this year, a lot of families brought their checkbooks and wrote checks for like $20 or even just gave us $20 to $50 cash. So anything that you want to donate will help what we're trying to do. So don't feel intimidated by those big numbers unless you want to, but we love anybody who wants to donate and help us with our cause. So thanks. And now for some old news.
We got a lot of old news to get through, so let's get to it. We have David Arkenstone. He came to Roseburg on October 1st, and it says here that his venue had been closed. I don't know where that was, but if you know, you're welcome to let us know. It looks like that concert was moved to the First United Methodist Church at 1771 West Harvard Avenue in Roseburg. If you went to the David Arkenstone concert, I think this is the second time he's come here, but if he's come here more than that, I'm not privy to that. But if you went to that show, I'd love to know how that went. So feel free to reach out, send us a message, comment on this video, let us know how that show went. I'd like to hear more about David Arkenstone. Maybe next time he comes through, we can get in touch. Some other old things that took place. Now, this is a new group that I've not heard of. This is Dr. Michael Wheeler's group. This is called Moths at Home. They play favorite jazz standards for the 1930s and 40s, and it looks like they had a show at the Oranmore Meadery on Thursday, September the 28th, and I really hope that concert went well, so happy to hear that Moths at Home is out there playing. Another old show, Widespread Haze, one of our favorite groups, played at Cantu Brewing in 10 Mile. If you don't know where 10 Mile is, well, it's 10 miles that way. Just kidding. No, it's quite a drive. It's actually not 10 miles. It's a little bit further out than that. But that was on Saturday, September the 30th. That was Widespread Haze, and we're looking forward to having them on the show very soon. Another thing that happened also on September the 30th was the Second Chance Blues Band at Spire Mountain Cellars. Looks like here, it says the Southern Oregon's premier blues band. So obviously one of our best bands in the area, especially for blues. So that's pretty cool. I've not been to Spire Mountain myself, but I hope to go someday. Again, I'm not much of a wine guy, so I don't make my way to the wine cellars, but I do love music. And if there's good music at a good venue, I should probably get in there and check that out. Another bit of old news, and you'll really like this. There was a wildfire aid concert, and that was all the way in Oakland. Let me just read this to you real quick. The Oakland Community Theater Group has teamed up with 3 local bands to present a wildfire relief benefit concert, and that was at the Oakland City Park in Oakland, Oregon, which is just next door to Sutherland. Remember, I grew up in Sutherland, so I know Oakland pretty well. I just haven't been there in a while. The 3 bands that they featured was The Solution to All Your Problems, who's been on the program, and we'd love to have you back, by the way. Rock Bottom, which we'll actually talk a little bit more about later. And this other group called Joe's Garage Band. Remember, if you want to come on the show, just let us know. We're happy to host any group, especially a group that's never been on the program. You can send an email to oregondcma@gmail.com or just send me a message on Facebook. Either way works for me. But that's all we have for old news.
And now it's time for some reviews.
I will keep the section brief today. But I want to review two things. And usually I go to shows and review those shows. But today I'm actually going to review two different things. I'm going to review a TV show and I'm going to review a book. And I'm going to keep it pretty brief because I don't want people to think that I'm creating this avenue to give my opinions on shows and TV shows and movies. And not really, but I may as well just talk about something. Stranger Things I recently watched. Missy and I watched the third and fourth season. We watched the first and second season a long time ago, so we're kind of rewatching it right now. But I kind of have some do's and some don'ts, some likes and some dislikes, and I'll do the likes first. The things I like about Stranger Things is how gripping it is. If you're into horror, like gruesome horror, it's pretty awesome as far as like kind of it does the creepy stuff that fans of that stuff really enjoy, and it is, for lack of a better term, and I've already said it twice, but it's gripping. You're sitting in your seat and you're going like, what's going to happen next? And one of the things I don't really like about it, sometimes it seems a little too far-fetched. I feel like there are too many gaps in the story. I'm not going to say anything, but it feels like it's kind of just thrown together, but it's thrown together in a way that I don't enjoy myself. It doesn't mean you can't like it. If you like Stranger Things, the thing is, by the end of season 4, I'm now really excited to hear season 5 and how it turns out. So Stranger Things is on Netflix. If you've not seen it, I recommend it. What a cool thing to go do. This book I read recently, now I don't own the physical copy. I actually do audiobooks a lot because I'm always moving, but I listened to a book called The King in Yellow. And if you don't know anything about that book, it's kind of like an after Edgar Allan Poe, before H.P. Lovecraft stuff, the Cthulhu and all this. So King in Yellow is written in 1895 by Robert Chambers, and it's a really cool book. It's basically about these people who read this play called The King in Yellow, and they go mad. But it's also a selection of short stories. So, and the stories aren't really tied together at all. They're kind of like different accounts of different experiences. If you've never read The King in Yellow, I would go check it out. It's pretty cool, and I like that dark stuff. And it's unlike Stranger Things, which is kind of in your face. The King in Yellow is a lot more subtle. So if you're into like subtle, subliminal, suggestive horror, The King in Yellow is right up your alley. And so yeah, check out Stranger Things on Netflix if you really want to, and of course read The King in Yellow. You'll love it.
Hey, check this out.
I'm gonna also try to get through this. There's a lot going on and I gotta go through this quick. So here we go. I wanna give a quick shout out to Dr. Michael Wheeler and his school for recently receiving their Trinity College London status. If you don't know what that means now that Jean Bechtel School through the Trinity College can offer degree programs. They can be associates, bachelors. We're working on masters and doctoral options, but the fact that we are a Trinity approved, not a university, but our college can get you the degrees that you're looking for, and that's fantastic. So good job, Michael Wheeler. And looking here, there's also things, he's a part of the North American British Music Studies Association, which is awesome. There's also the Society for the Advancement of Local Arts and Literature, the SALAL, which I received an award for being a supporter of music. So if you've never been to bechtelschool.com, I recommend it. Search BECHTEL school.com and check out all this cool stuff at the Jean Bechtel School. If you want lessons, if you want to learn how to compose, if you're just looking to try to figure out how to contribute to the music community, check out the Jean Bechtel School for Music. All right, we got stuff coming up Friday, October 6th. We've got Kelly's Cozy Corner in Sutherland. There's a band called Rock Bottom, which I talked about earlier. They're playing from 7 to 9, so you really want to check out the Cozy Corner and hear Rock Bottom this Friday. The address is 1207 West Central in Sutherland. I'm sure that's probably pretty easy to find because I think Central is one of the only roads in Sutherland because it's a small town, and that's totally fine. So also Vine Katz came on the show today, which you'll see a little bit later, and they've got some shows coming up. So October the 7th, that's of course this Saturday, they're going to be playing at the Umpqua Brewfest, and the stage for the Brewfest is just behind Old Soul Pizza. And also remember that the Blocktoberfest is also this Saturday, so there's tons of stuff going on this weekend. You really, if you're not doing anything this weekend, you might want to go to downtown Roseburg and just walk around for a couple hours. You'll hear some great music and eat some great food from what I'm seeing here. October the 8th is Sunday. Vine Katz also plays at Abasella Vine and Wine Center, and that's from 2 to 4, and there's no cover, so you'll definitely want to check that out. There's a November gig for Vine Katz, but we'll talk more about that later. Elkton has an Oktoberfest, and if you don't know where Elkton is, well, it's just a few miles north of us on the way to Reedsport. Elkton has an Oktoberfest, and they have brats, beer, pretzels, and music from the Roseburg German Band. That's pretty cool, and I'd love to have them on the show too. The sponsor is River's Edge Winery, so thanks for doing that, River's Edge. Appreciate that. The Elkton's Oktoberfest is Saturday from 12 to 5 p.m. and that looks like the only day that it's happening. So Saturday's gonna have, there's two Oktoberfests basically happening at the same time. So you're gonna have to either go to both or pick one or the other. Choices, right? I would rather have choices than no choices at all. It's a $6 cover charge. Kids 12 and under are free. Live music from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So that's 3 hours of German band music, food and drink booths, cider press vendors, and kids activities. And that's at the Elkton Community Center, Elkton Community Education Center, 15, let's see, oh boy, this is a 5-digit number. This is 15850 Highway 38 in Elkton, Oregon. You'll really want to check out Elkton's Oktoberfest. If you're not already going to the Roseburg Blocktoberfest put together by my friend Christy. And Christy, thanks for doing that, by the way. It looks like there's a lot going on here. There's a main stage. I'm not seeing where it will be, but I'm sure it'll be obviously the main stage. It'll be a big stage somewhere in downtown, and so listen for that sound. I'll read this to you. This year we're bringing 5 entertainment stages at the Blocktoberfest. We've announced our family stage lineup, and this is your main stage lineup for the day. Stay tuned for the week from Heshmoto Craft, Heshmoto Show stage lineup, and the Umpqua Brewfest lineup. And that's part of the Vine Katz thing, which we'll get to in a second. The main stage at 11:30 a.m. is the fabulous Del Montes, who've been on the program. We'd love to have you back. 1 p.m. is Funk Shui, which I'd love to also have on the program. And actually, Matthew is a colleague of mine, one of the saxophone players. At 2:30, this group called the Graduating Class is playing, and I've never heard of them, so that sounds interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. And of course, at 4 p.m., the Sex Tones. Lovely. That's great. So at 4 p.m., you can see the Sex Tones. 2:30, you can see the Graduating Class. 1 p.m. is Funk Shui, and 11:30 is the fabulous Del Montes. You won't want to miss this Blocktoberfest because there's going to be vendors, there's going to be food, there's going to be these big tents. It's going to be amazing. So everybody should really, really go to this if they have time. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Last but not least on our program, this is the lineup for the Umpqua Brewfest. And I'll just read this to you real quick. Colleen and Co. go from 11 to 12:40. Vine Katz, who I've already talked about, go from 1 to 2:30. The Cosmic Ramblers, that's a fun name. They play from 2:45 to 4:15. And the Sunny Sky Boys go from 4:30 to 6. So at least 6, 7, 8, 9 bands playing in all these different venues this Saturday in downtown Roseburg, Oregon. You won't want to miss this. So that's all we have for the current events. Please come to the Blocktoberfest. Let's get moving.
And now our feature presentation.
Well, thank you for inviting Vine Katz to be with you at the Bechtel School of Music studio with Colin Hurwitz's show. We are Jason Heald, Liz Jones, Dave Wilson, Don Fisher, and Mark Schluter, all from the Douglas County area. So we're happy to be here. I'll sing to the sun in the sky. I'll sing as the sun rises high. Carnival time is here, magical time of year. And as the time appears, dreams fill my heart. I'll sing as the sun rises high. I'll cling as I dream from afar. Will love come my way? This carnival day, or will love stay in my heart? Hey, Jason. rises high. Carnival time is here, magical time of year. And as the time appears, dreams fill my heart. I'll sing as I play my guitar. I'll cling as I dream from afar. Will love come my way this carnival day, or will love stay in my heart? Oh, will love come my way on this carnival day, or will I be alone in my dream? In my dream, ba-doo-dee-da-da, ba-doo-dee-da. I know why I've waited. I know why I've been blue. Prayed each night for someone exactly like you. Why should we spend money on a show or two? No one plays those love scenes exactly like you. You make me feel so grand. I wanna hand the world to you. You seem to understand each foolish little dream I'm dreaming, scheme I'm scheming. I know why my mother taught me to be true. She meant me for someone exactly like you. Hey, Jason. You make me feel so grand. I wanna hand the world to you. You seem to understand each foolish little scheme I'm scheming, dream I'm dreaming. I know why my mother, she taught me to be true. Prayed each night for someone exactly like you. Take it, dog. for someone exactly like you. Why should we spend money on a show or two? 'cause love sings exactly like you. You make me feel so grand, I wanna hand the world to you. You seem to understand each foolish little scheme I'm scheming, dream I'm dreaming. I know why my mother, she taught me to be true. She meant me for someone exactly like you. Yeah, she meant me for someone exactly like you. Blue skies smiling on me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Blue birds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the day hurrying by, when you're in love, my heart they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Blue skies singing a song, but it did down. Blue skies all day long. Blue birds smiling at me, nothing but bluebirds do I see. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the day hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Oh, blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies all day long. Let's hear a little trumpet. smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Oh, ba-ba-da-da-da-da-ba-dee-dee-da-da, ba-ba-doo-dee-da, ba-ba-doo-dee-da-day, ba-ba-doo-dee-da-da, la-ba-ba-dee, la-da-da-da-da-ba-da-da. Rusted brandy in a diamond glass. Everything is made of dreams. Time is made of honey, slow and sweet. Only the fools know what it means. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. Well, I know that he is made of smoke, but I lost my way. He knows that I am broke, but I must pay. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. Dutch pink and Italian blue. He is waiting for you. My will has disappeared. Confusion is so clear. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. Italian blue. He is waiting for you. My will has disappeared. Temptation is so clear. Temptation, temptation, temptation. I can't resist. No, ba-da-dee-da-da. It's a free for all, everybody. Oregon blue. He is waiting for you. My will has disappeared. Temptation is so clear. Temptation. 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 I can't resist.
And it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to the program the Vine Katz. Now, there's a lot more than we usually have on the show, so I'll let you introduce yourselves for the audience. So please, from the top, why don't you go first?
I'm Liz Jones, and I started the Vine Katz.
And I'm Jason Heald.
I'm Dave Wilson.
Don Fisher, Mark Schluter.
And it's so nice to have you guys here. And what a great show. I really appreciate you all coming and playing in our theater space today. But I think my first question that's on my mind is, how did you all get together? Where did you meet? And how long have you been playing together for?
I think we've been playing together for about 4 months. Or I'm taking a stab at it.
Right?
Yeah, that's
It's
about
not
right.
that long, really. We've had about a dozen gigs. I met Jason many years ago when I was singing for a jazz choir down in Ashland, where I was living. I met Dave through a friend. I met Don by scouting trumpet players and seeing his picture and then giving him a call. And he had an endorsement from Jason that he was probably pretty good. So then I met Mark on, was it Craigslist?
Craigslist, yes.
Yeah,
Craigslist
good old
find.
Craigslist.
I thought that went out of business.
No.
Huh, well, interesting. So I'm curious, just going down the line, are you from this area or are you from somewhere else? I'm curious. Actually, let's start with that side. I'm curious. Are you from this area or are you from outside the state?
I'm from New Mexico.
Nice.
I'm a green chili desert rat all the way.
Oh, cool. It's Green Chili Desert Rat. Okay, I love
Yeah.
that.
Well, if you've heard of Hatch Chili, that's where I grew up.
Okay, wow,
So,
very
you
cool.
know, lots of sunlight, lots of blue sky.
Oh, yeah.
No water.
Yeah, Arizona's not known for its plentiful drinking sources.
New Mexico.
Right, of course. And then you, sir, please.
I'm from Elkton, and I grew up on a ranch, and I still live on that ranch, and I will never move.
Nice.
So,
What do you like about Elkton the most? I'm curious.
well, I like their basketball teams all the time, and football, and the vineyards, the cattle. Lived on a cattle ranch. I still do. So
And I imagine you've been to that butterfly garden at least once.
I've been there many, many times.
I love that butterfly
Yeah.
garden. It's like one of my favorite places to hang out. And yes, you, please.
I'm actually a natural-born Oregonian. Grew up in Southern Oregon and
Yes.
went to school down through there. And since graduation, been all over the place, Alaska and Eugene, and just moved to Roseburg about, 7 years ago or so.
Right.
And,
And the audience probably knows that Jason Heald's actually been on the show at least once before. But Jason, for the record, how long have you been in the state?
How long have I been in this thing?
Oh, in the state, yes. Or,
Oh, in the state?
you from Oregon, right?
No, I'm not.
Ah,
I'm
please.
from Alaska.
Oh,
Really?
many Alaskans around.
And I came down to Oregon for my undergraduate work and basically at least had a post office box in Oregon at all times.
Nice, very cool. And last but not least.
I'm an East Coast girl, and I moved from Virginia 24 years ago, 25 years ago, and I've been in Southern Oregon ever since, but only in Douglas County for 2 years.
Okay. And it sounds like there's no plans to leave the state. You guys are going to stick around for a while?
As long as we don't get into any legal trouble.
Right. Yes, of course. Well, one reason to flee a state is, not doing the right thing for the right reasons. Anyway, well, so have all of you studied at university, or are some of you self-taught musicians, or do you all have teachers? I'm curious. Would anyone like to go first?
Well, I was a music teacher as a profession.
Okay.
Taught school for 32 years. And
Nice.
Public school, everywhere from little kindergarten kids all the way up to high school. Band was my main focus during most of those years.
Where did you teach?
Well, started off in Prospect, Oregon, and then we moved to Alaska, Kodiak Island for 5 years, taught in the Bush School there, and then came back down to Eagle Point School District and retired from there back in 07, I think.
So you taught for 32 years, all grade levels.
All grade levels, yeah. And itinerant music teachers got to go here wherever they send you.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else have formal training, or is anybody else self-taught?
self-taught
Okay.
for the most part.
Nice.
I've had some lessons here and there, but I didn't start playing till I was about 29, 30.
Oh, okay.
I'm a late bloomer.
That's great. No, never too late to get in the music
Never
game, I'm
too
telling
late.
you. Anybody down there?
My mother transferred me out of piano lessons to my first snare drum lesson in the 6th grade.
Nice.
And I was a band geek throughout the junior high, high school, and college years.
Nice. Okay.
And fortunately never gave it up.
No, it's great.
Couldn't do it full time, but
Yeah.
never put it away.
I actually have to give this guy some props. So our drum set back here isn't great. It's a student model kit. And he just comes in and goes, I'm just going to fix everything. And he just really made the drum set sound fantastic. So I really do appreciate that. Thanks. A couple other questions for this group. Where do you guys like to play the most? Where is your favorite location to play music?
Well, our name kind of gives it away, the Vine Katz, because we
yeah.
enjoy the wineries. But that's not the only place we'll play. It just happens to be the place that we play most often. We enjoy wine, for one thing, and the wine culture and the wine scene in the area.
Now I know why they're not leaving the state. Oregon's known for its wine. It's hard to believe it's true. But so where have you played so far? Have you played all the vineyards in the area, or are there places you haven't played yet?
We've played quite a few. We
We're
played
drinking our way through this.
Joseph Jane,
Melrose.
Avocella, Melrose, Spirit Mountain,
We've been to Elton
Spire Mountain, Spire Mountain.
Played in Elton?
and Elton at
Bradley,
Bradley's.
Elton. We're going to play Cooper Ridge coming up.
Gear
Of
Of course,
Day.
Avicella's
Sunday.
is the best.
Oh yeah, your day.
Yeah, this kind of, the weather's been turning not so good. It's getting cold and rainy, and they were gonna play at Avocella, and we were gonna do the gig there, but it just this just kind of worked out for us.
So
Really.
I,
sort of
I
an
have a
inside
little
joke.
confession to make
Oh, please.
about Avocella.
Okay.
So my husband's family owns Avocella, and so
Well, there you go.
that's our link. I've been associated with the wine industry for quite a long time.
Okay, so this is not your even though you only played together for 4 months. This is not your first rodeo playing at wineries, especially having history working for one.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever work in the winery yourself, or always just kind of been around it?
Well, we lived in Ashland for so many years. He was a professor down at SOU. And I played the winery circuit down there, but we also would come up and play at Avocella for their annual fiesta event.
Is there a place in our neck of the woods that you haven't played yet that would like to? You said Cooper Ridge, is that true? Or somewhere else?
We are playing Cooper Ridge. We are scheduled for a fundraiser at Henry's. That's the Altrusa fundraiser coming up. I'd love to get in every door that'll open to us. So
Yeah. Okay. And actually, since I'm going to kind of go back down to this way and start moving this way again, I'm curious, some of your more influential musicians, who keeps you playing music? Who are you listening to right now? Or who really inspires you to be a musician? I'm curious.
All through growing up, I was always a little bit out of the popular rock and roll loop, listening to big bands, and Buddy Rich was, an influence on every drummer
It's true.
throughout that time and beyond. But my musical hero, if I could boil it down to one person or one band, would be Count Basie.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Count Basie. Absolutely cannot go wrong with that.
Count Basie.
Yes,
from every
please.
angle.
Well, I have two that I really followed growing up, and that was Herb Alpert and Doc Severinsen. And Doc was a Arlington, Oregon guy. And anyway, I play a lot of Herb Alpert music with a keyboard player, and got to see him in concert a couple times. And I was sitting in the front row, and he came along, and I got a picture. Well, I went back about 3 or 4 years later to another concert, same place, and I took that picture with me, and I went backstage after the concert and talked to him for 10 or 15 minutes. He signed the picture. Then Doc Severinsen, I've seen him 5 or 6 times in concert, and went backstage, pushed my way through, and I had just got engaged and got acquainted with his mother, and his mother said, I'd like to get a picture of you and your wife to be. And so she took a picture with Doc with his arms around us.
Wow.
Sent it to us for a wedding present.
Oh,
in an
Nice.
8x10. I'll bring it.
So you have a deep personal memory of one of your favorite musicians. That's really something.
Oh, Doc Severinsen's right up there.
Wow.
You know, and Herb Alpert, you know, the music. Herb Alpert, or Doc Severinsen was the world's greatest trumpet player for a long time, noted as that. So,
You know, audience, take this as a moment to understand that sometimes, you know, they say you don't want to meet your heroes because they'll let you down. I think this is actually a critical example of why you should actually go ahead and meet whoever you look up to. Go ahead and see where they're at and go try to shake their hand and talk to them. I've met a few influential musicians myself, and I'm telling you, it's nothing quite like it. I mean, you run the risk of that person not being who you expect them to be, but it sounds like this was ultimately a good experience.
well, I'll tell you why I played the trumpet. I was, like I said, raised on a ranch, and we were down changing irrigation about 9 o'clock at night in the summer.
Yeah.
And I heard Herb Alpert on the radio. This was in August. And I told Dad, I want to play trumpet. So, been
Sold early on.
playing it ever since. I was 10 years old.
Nice. That's so. And just a follow-up question, because I don't think I heard from you. Formal training or all self-taught?
I took music at UCC, I graduated from UCC, and I went to Oregon State.
Nice.
So,
And let's hear from you. I would really want to know about your musical background, your tastes, your preferences.
Okay. Well, I've been through quite a few genres as my favorites over the years.
Right.
I guess my first album I ever bought was Santana.
Yeah.
And of course, as a sax player, which I was all through school, got into Chicago, Tower of Power, and listened to the horn sections there. And then after I got out of school, I had opportunities to play with some pretty big bands in the Medford, Oregon area. And I got to play saxophone with them, and so learned a little repertoire there. But since then, I kind of got into country music a little bit, played in a country band for several years, and some of my favorite heroes are guitar players like Vince Gill, awesome guitar player, Eric Clapton, Mark Knopfler. But here as lately, I have to say Jason Heald is probably my hero now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I noticed you were playing the bass. When did you switch from sax to bass? Or were you always playing bass?
I was involved in a church in Medford and playing in a little praise band down there, and they had no bass player. And just sitting out there in the congregation listening to this little group of musicians up there trying to play music, and said, boy, they could sure use a bass player. So I volunteered and went down and bought a little cheap little bass and started playing along with them. And that was back in 1991. So been playing bass off and on ever since. I probably spend more time on my guitar at home, with my for own enjoyment. But
it is fascinating how many opportunities church gigs provide. Even though many church gigs are not paid, it's an opportunity to pick up an instrument and just get on stage and make some music. Really have to give churches some credit for that. Jason, your musical influences, I'm sure there are at least a few.
Well, and I think one of the things that I would say, just kind of following up on an earlier comment, is I would probably be a person that qualifies as both being having way too much formal education, but also am self-taught. I've never had a guitar lesson. I'm completely self-taught as a guitarist. And so growing up, when I first picked up the guitar, my biggest influences were a lot of the folk artists out of the late 60s, early 70s. Paul Simon was a big influence, and Jim Croce and his guitarist Maury Muleisen, and Gordon Lightfoot, and then once I sort of discovered the British blues and was a huge Peter Green fan, and then kind of working backwards, then started to listen to a lot of Chicago blues and guys like Hubert Sumlin with Howlin' Wolf and Mississippi John Hurt and some of those. So those were the ones that really propelled me. I've also been a huge country fan going way back to players like Merle Travis and Joe Maphis, and so I've kind of been all over the map. But I think the one thing that that I know is that it all kind of informs each other. The fact that you have formal training means not only can you learn things by ear, but you can read music, and it's fun because you realize how many connections there are between different musical styles. So I've always felt real fortunate that I've been able to have been involved in as many musical styles as I have.
And the only reason I really am asking this question is because since you are one of the main professors at UCC for music and arts, you're in the academic scene looking for students. And myself being also a graduate from U of O's music program, I'm also eager to get kids into college programs just because there's so much you can get from that experience. But I will comment that many college musicians don't gig as much as this guy does. I can't think of a group he's not in. It's kind of crazy. You know, being self-taught and an academic musician, but still playing the gigs, still going to the small venues, you know, and really having a good attitude about it.
Yeah.
So that's really fantastic.
Hi, my name's Jason. I'm an addict.
He's a music addict.
Yeah, I think we all
Yeah,
are
he
to
is.
some extent. And then last but I said it twice already. Liz, your background, your favorite music, what influences you? I must know.
I have to say that I paid a lot more attention to vocalists growing up than instrumentalists, and enjoyed singing, but my brothers would tell me to be quiet because I wasn't
brothers.
very good.
Brothers, not nice. Mean old
And
brothers.
like I said, you know, it wasn't until my late 20s that I decided to start taking guitar lessons, bought a guitar, and started writing some songs. So first became a songwriter, very simple material, and I've always been exposed to many genres. My parents listened to Herb Alpert and his classical guitar, Paco de Lucia, and my mother's Hispanic, so we listened to a lot of salsa and cumbia and Latin-influenced music. And only maybe in the last, 8 to 10 years did I become such a jazz enthusiast.
When did you write your first song?
I was 29. And when I moved to Oregon, I joined the Southern Oregon Songwriters Association.
Does that still exist?
It does still exist. It is based down in Ashland.
Oh, well,
But that's kind of where I cut my teeth on a stage to help me get over my nervousness of being in front of people. And Jason helped me with that as well.
There's a huge element of just performance anxiety for a lot of musicians. Even when you want to perform, standing in front of strangers is not always easy to do. Okay, well, hey guys, looking at the clock, I see we're almost out of time. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we close this interview? Was there anything else you want to throw out there? Any more dates? Where can we find you? Got a website? Anything that you think the audience should know?
We do have a Facebook page. It's Vine Katz, not the Vine Katz, just Vine Katz. And
Spelled with a K.
Right.
With Katz,
K-A-T-Z, because we're hip, and I totally am into that. I am totally into that.
Just very grateful for the talent I've been able to enlist to play with me. And I feel like the young and less experienced of the group, and it's so wonderful to have the support of these guys, and it's really fun to be out there playing. And yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, of course. Anything else you wanted to add? Especially you down there, since you're the furthest away from me.
Oh, we're good.
All right.
Oh, we're good.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on the program, you guys. I really appreciate your time, and this is what the DCMA is all about: is bringing musicians together, helping the community, getting the word out. You want to check out the Vine Katz? Check the Facebook page for their next gig. You won't want to miss Vine Katz at their next gig, please. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Colin.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Well, that seems to be all the time we have left for today. Tune in next week for another great episode of the WITZ, the WITZ, brought to you by the Douglas County Music Association and so many other great sponsors. Again, if you're willing to donate now, you can send a check to 1622 Northeast Vine Street at Roseburg, Oregon 97470, or you can go to our Venmo at Oregon DCMA. We can't wait to hear from you. That's all the time we have. Until next time, bye everyone.